10:02 on the fan. What's happening? This is the Tiki and Tierney show. We got a lot of things to hit today. Going to be interesting as we wait for this Josh Allen news, obviously impacting the entire AFC. Most importantly to us, the Jets, perhaps. Knicks and Nets tonight, Tiki. We got some stuff to unpack from Cash, who basically said nothing, and Billy Epler, who said a little something yesterday. But we have, you see, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, he did say that Josh Donaldson is going to be your starting third baseman.
Yeah, I don't believe him. I don't believe him. We'll get to that. I don't believe him.
We'll get to it.
I don't believe him.
The NFL season is long, dude. It's a grind now that it's 18 weeks, or 17 weeks. Actually, it's 18 weeks because it's 17 games, 18 weeks with the bye week, which is important. Because I remember during my playing days, the bye week would come around, and look, I was always busy. I was always doing other stuff, so I never wanted to leave. Like, I wanted to be around New York. I wanted to, do things in the city that I never got to do when I was playing. And I remember thinking, God, getting on a plane would suck right now, right? And think about yourself now with kids and with travel. It's just a grind. Like, you go somewhere and maybe you're there for a couple of days and it feels great, 3 or 4 days, and you got to get back on a plane and come back home. It's almost deflating to take a short vacation and come back. But that's why I never did it. I would always just stay around. And so as I think about this Giants team and how this bye week played out and really the mindset of some of these young players who are unaware of the importance of the job, right? The importance of the 17 opportunities that you get to do something like play in the National Football League. And every single one of them matters. Everyone. And it's not like baseball. We go on a 3-week slump and we suck and I'm terrible. Like, you know what? I can still hit 320 and we can still go to the ALCS, right? It's not like that in football. Every game matters. And therefore, every week matters, including the bye week. And so I don't want to kill Xavier McKinney. I don't, because I know he wasn't trying to be reckless. I know he wasn't trying to do something that would undercut the momentum that this Giants team has had for the first 8 weeks of the season, now on to week 9. So I can't kill him. But there is a professionalism that got lost in his mind. And you have to hold him accountable for it. Right, this Giants team, we know how it's built. Right, they play it close to the vest. They play tight games. They suck the air out of the football. You're going to get 8, maybe 9 possessions as the opposing team. So if you make a mistake, guess what? You're losing that game. Conversely, if the Giants make a mistake, the Giants are going to lose that game, just like what happened with the Seattle Seahawks and the 2 fumbles. And so they play close. And the only way to win that way is if you have everybody dialed in to what it takes to be successful. So Wink Martindale is going to say, all right, Julian Love, I'm going to put you in a position. You better go sack the quarterback. Guess what? He gets in the position. He goes and sacks the quarterback early in the season. Same thing. All right, Xavier McKinney, we got Baltimore right where we need him. We're gonna come after him. They're going to have to get rid of the ball early, make the damn tackle. They make the damn tackle. They beat the Baltimore Ravens, right, the way that it works. Now, all of a sudden, you delete one of those guys that Wink has been depending upon. It could have been on the offensive side as well. It could have been Saquon messing up or Wan'Dale Robinson or whoever it could have been. Saquon, we're going to give you this one shot. Or Daniel Jones, you got to make this play. You come to rely on those guys over the course of a season to be there for you. And again, I'm not killing Xavier McKinney because it's his right to go out and do whatever he wants on his bye week. It's a free day. But sometimes you have to think about the professionalism of every week, including the bye week. And right now, this is a next man up business. I think the Giants have exemplified that all season long. Someone goes down, the next guy comes up. Someone, is ineffective. Let's get the next guy in there. They're going to be tested, but I hate that it's tested with Xavier McKinney potentially missing the rest of the season for a team that has overachieved, that has blown expectations through the roof, and who in week 9 are sitting with a real shot to make the playoffs. I mean, it sucks. And it sucks for Xavier McKinney, but it also sucks for all of us who saw this Giants defense starting to shape into something that could be special, not this year, also this year, but also into the future. So, again, I'm not killing the kid, but damn.
Well, I get it. All right. Oh, so you said a couple of minutes ago that he's got to be held accountable. How?
That I don't know, but if I was the Giants, I know what we talked about this yesterday. How it's non-football related injuries they're unique in football because if you miss 2 games, you're hurting the team. I mean, obviously you're hurting yourself, but you're really hurting the team. He's going to miss at least 4.
Oh yeah,
maybe the remaining 7.
Minimally 25% of the season.
Remaining 9, I should say. So exactly.
Yep.
So. I mean, you're not suspending him because the damage is already done.
Yeah,
but it's got to be financial. You probably fine him at in some capacity because this hurts the team. And again, I like Xavier McKinnon. We had him on, remember, a couple of weeks ago when Julian Love had a concussion. I love his energy. I love his positivity. He probably just made a dumb mistake, but he hurt the team, and that's a big deal.
877-337-6666, our number. Tiki and Tierney on the fan. So he had a little conversation at his locker yesterday. At the end, got a little contentious. Go ahead, guys.
You weren't driving it?
You said you were riding?
Sightseeing tour.
Were you driving?
So it's a sightseeing tour. How many times do I need to say that?
Sorry.
I don't
Sometimes
get it.
Okay, you don't have to get it. I'm saying, you hear what I'm saying? Or do you hear what I'm telling you? Sightseeing tour. Next
I guess
question.
in some of those tours they give you your own to drive. And sometimes you sit in the back of one. So what was the situation?
Sightseeing tour.
See, that's immature right there. That's immature. And that's the part that annoys me. And that's the part where if they take a few bucks out of his pocket, I don't care.
And by the way, would it matter? Honestly, if you were driving, would it matter?
If he was not, I mean, at the end of the day, no, he's not going to play for the Giants for a month.
That's my point. Does it matter?
It does speak to
like what's going to change?
Maturity, perhaps a little.
Let's just say BT he was driving, and I don't know, he took the turn wrong and it just flipped because those things they flip.
Oh yeah,
right. You get turned too fast. Get
no question.
The wrong wheel up too high. They go over, man.
That's right.
So what happens if he was driving? Right? Does it matter?
Well, literally no, right now, because he's not coming back this weekend against the Texans, whether he was shotgun or the weekend after. So that doesn't matter. That's almost immaterial. But, I mean, I can understand why there's a pressing need. Listen, first of all, they're journalists and they want to write a story, but the need for clarity is there. And I would like to know. Like, if that was a Jet, I would like to, and for a Giant, I mean, it doesn't really matter, but the Jets are my team. I would want to know, all right, was this young kid, with a group and
I hear you. The context matters.
Just a little.
Like what happened? If he was being reckless,
a little bit. Was he going 50 around a turn because he just wasn't? He didn't care, and he was like, I don't know. Or was he in the back of a banana boat? And you hit a wave and you fell out and you hit a coral reef. Like, there is a difference.
No, there is.
It doesn't, you're not going to cut him. You're not going to embarrass him.
No, because he's a budding star.
He is. I like him. I didn't like that exchange. I thought that was immature. Just answer the question.
I think
answer the question.
Because ultimately it doesn't matter. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And again, and I bring this up because this is Xavier McKinney. This is the guy that Wink Martindale came into this organization this past offseason. And it wasn't like, oh, he's just a guy. This dude played at the University of Alabama. He was a stud down there. I know this, and you know this because I told you. I called many of those games with him. The kid was all over the place. We see him now in the NFL. Wink sees him and says, you know what? My middle linebacker's not calling the plays because I like to call from the back end. Xavier McKinney, you're my guy. You're my captain. Like, you're the voice of this defense. So it's not like some insignificant player. It's not like some guy who is just a guy that could be replaced. This is your guy.
Even more reason to be responsible.
And that's my point.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree, T.
When you're the man, and he's not fully the man because he's only in his second year, but when you're becoming the man, there's a responsibility that's so much greater than yourself. It's so much bigger than yourself. And it's not just what you say, but it's also what you do. And again, I don't want to kill him because I really love this kid. But I don't want to say it's devastating, but it's a huge hit Julian Love's now got to call the defenses. Now, Julian's comfortable with that. We talked to him yesterday. He talked about how that a change in that shift is going to, affect the defense. And it may not be that big, but it could be huge. And that's a big deal. It's a really big deal for this Giants team who, let's face it, if they win these next 2 games, it gets a little bit tougher, but they're still in the path to make
If
the
they
postseason.
win these 2, they're in. I'm on the record.
And as you said,
if they win these 2,
must
they're
win.
in.
And
I don't know if they'll win both, but if they do, they're in.
But they're must win because if they want to make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Because after this, they have 2 games left with the Philadelphia Eagles, who are undefeated.
At Dallas.
Who is pretty damn good right now. And Minnesota, who's got 1 loss on the season.
And the Commanders, who, we laugh at them at the start of the season because they've been a mess for it, but they're not bad.
They're not bad.
You probably make the case they got more talent than the Giants, top to bottom.
You're
Don't
right.
you think?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like top to bottom.
You're absolutely right. But they don't have the quarterback playing the way that Daniel Jones has been.
No,
But that doesn't matter. I mean, it's tough. It's really tough. And the Giants know it. The second half of the season is going to be a grind, and they're likely to be without their defensive captain. That's a big deal. Dude.
All right, Tiki. 877-337-6666 is our number. As always, we're inside of our Town Fair Tire studio. Friends at Town Fair remind you that you always get the guarantee lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Carl Banks at 11:40. Little Knicks Nets, a little Kyrie later. Josh Allen news should trickle in at some point today, probably during our show. And both GMs, Cash and Epler, spoke. And one of the two actually said something. We'll get to that later as well. Pete's in Yonkers, first up on the fan, Tiki and Tierney. Pete, what's going on, buddy?
Oh, not that much, guys. Thanks for taking the call. Look, I just wanted to point out, I think there's absolutely a huge difference between who's driving and who's not.
All right, tell me. Tell us, because I don't know. I honestly don't know. I haven't been on one in 30 years.
Neither have I, but I mean, if the kid's actually driving the thing, he's obviously responsible. If he's in the back seat and somebody else rolls it, that's another matter entirely.
Well,
I think the fact that he dodged the question says a lot.
Yeah,
yes,
it does.
That part I agree with.
It does, but my point is he's hurt. So it doesn't really matter if he was driving or not. That's why I'm saying it doesn't matter. I'm sure, like, logistically and physically.
Hurt is hurt. The end result is he's out, so I get that. But it is a teachable moment.
Well, I think, Peter, I think you're making an interesting point, Peter, that you're trying to make, and I'll let you finish. Well, PT just cut you. But
sorry, Pete.
But an interesting point that I think you're trying to make is that we will judge him differently based on the circumstances. And that's not fair to him because he's hurt. He's hurt. But
I don't think it's unfair, though.
It's not unfair.
Circumstances matter.
Absolutely, they do. And if you ignore the circumstances and you're making an unfair analysis and judgment on someone.
Yeah, and listen, I think the circumstances, I don't want to crucify the young man. Come on. But I think the circumstances on some level, on a professional level, they could, not that they do, but they could impact how much you can trust him.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
No, you're right.
And just come clean, man.
And that sounds like profound.
Almost too much, like too deep. But is it?
But you are becoming the man.
Yeah, there's more responsibility for the man.
That's what I said.
It's got to be that way.
There's responsibility that's greater than yourself, and that's everything you do. That's when you go out to dinner with your boys and you have a couple drinks.
Yep.
Are you driving 40 minutes home and potentially all that matters,
I
man.
agree with you.
All of that matters, and guys don't think about it. Here's the other thing, BT. You know how long the offseason is?
Oh, for the NFL?
It's long.
You got time. It's not like baseball.
It's long.
Yeah, you got some time.
Right? You want to go do crazy stuff? Do it in February, right? When the season is done.
Yes. All right. So, listen, when this first trickled in, Giant fans were upset, like in terms of a good player being compromised. Now I think they're a little angered by the way this has gone. I did think that was a bit immature, the way he handled that Q&A, that interaction with the reporters. But what do you guys think? 877-337-6666. Tiki and Tierney on this Wednesday on The Fan.